Welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl Mazza, the healing dancer, your host. This podcast is all about Michael Jackson and how he continues to spread love in the world and inspires us to be our best selves. In this episode, I am talking with Angela from Fort Worth, Texas. Some of the highlights from this episode are turning a negative situation into a positive, keeping MJ's music and energy alive by being the Care Bears that continue to spread love and his energy in the world, and how he inspires Angela to be the change she wants to see in the world. I hope that you enjoy this episode with Angela. I also want to mention that I will not be posting any more episodes in December of 2024. I'm taking a short break in order to gather more guests and record more episodes for you. I do plan to be back in January of 2025 with more It's All for Love. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment and let us know how much you love the episode. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, please make sure to subscribe there. And I would also love it if you left me a positive review. If you're interested in being a guest on this podcast, I would absolutely love to chat with you. Please see in the show notes a link that you can click on to schedule a coffee chat with me so that we can talk about the podcast and get you scheduled for your episode. Thank you so much for listening and or watching It's All for Love. Hey everyone, welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl, the healing dancer, your host, and today we have Angela from Fort Worth, Texas, here with us. Angela is a New Orleans native with a serious love of music and love for Michael. So welcome, Angela. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. I'm excited to hear your story. When did you first discover Michael Jackson?
Is birth too early? My mom was a big music person, so she would play music, for me just growing up. But I didn't really click, I guess you could say, into my own fandom until I believe I was 6, and we went to Disney World for the first time, and I saw Captain EO, and then I was locked in. My first album that I bought for myself, or the first album I ever received, was The Wiz on vinyl. First album I bought myself was the Bad album. So we've pretty much been locked in ever since. And of course, my favorite movie was Moonwalker. So I had to get a big poster as soon as I could.
Nice, nice. Were there any moments from childhood that you remember the most? Or seeing Michael or
Unfortunately, I never really got a chance to see him in person. But I do still remember, and it's kind of part of the reason why I tell my friends who are now older and they have kids, I'm like, listen, bringing kids to Disney when they're babies, like that's fine, but you gotta bring them when they're like 5, 6, because I remember sitting in the seats and I had glasses when I was a child, so I had to kind of hold the 3D glasses to my face and going through the whole Captain EO story. And, they had smoke and like they would sprinkle water on us and the chairs would shake. I still remember every bit of that. Um, and being terrified of the woman, the evil woman in the movie. I was horrified and didn't know till years later it was the same actress from the Addams Family. And I was just like, I was so scared of her. But it was, it was such a defining moment, I guess you could say, in my life. And that really just kind of locked me into him as a musician and as a person, because he has been such a big person of positivity.
right. Yes.
His music has always been positive, even if he's singing about something that is a sad subject or a harder subject. It's always woven in love and positivity. And I think that was something I really gravitated towards.
Yeah. I love that. How you said it was woven in love and positivity. Even if it was like, Earth Song, we're talking about, all of the
Yes.
chaos in the world.
Yes.
Well, I love that story. So, how has Michael inspired you throughout your life?
Um, Michael has kept me safe. And I don't know if you put like, a warning beforehand, and I do apologize to listeners who will hear this, but or apologize or trigger warning, I guess you could say, for the people who listen to this, but um Michael kept me safe. Unfortunately, as we all know, allegations. Um, I was about 9 or 10 when this happened, and fully going through my mother's vinyls and kind of taking them over, and just being so absorbed in his music and music videos and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if the Simpsons episode was before or after, but like I was locked in.
Mm,
And the allegations came out, and it was very confusing. I didn't understand what was going on specifically,
mm,
what they were accusing him of. Um, so thankfully, I have a close family member who is an attorney, still an attorney. And at the time, he was always the person that I would go to kind of figure out, like, what does this mean? Especially because I was such a sheltered child. My mother did everything to just, she really kind of kept a tight grip on me. New Orleans being what it is. So if I didn't read it in books, I would go to family members, trust family members to find out, okay,
mm,
what is this? And my cousin Clarence, thankfully, just we're still close to this day. He sat me down and he explained to me exactly what a pedophile was, what they were exactly accusing him of, and his thoughts on it. Because I immediately was like, like this blew my mind. Like, what is this? What are you talking about? He wouldn't do that. Like, that's just insanity. And thankfully, Clarence sat me down and explained it in a way that I could understand,
mhm,
and also explained how that comes to be. I know younger people at that age, it's just kind of a blanket statement of stranger danger,
mhm.
but they don't really get too in depth. Um, that whole world just did not exist for me at that time. Um, but in having a conversation with my cousin and watching on TV, I was definitely a child of TV, at least as far as Michael was concerned, seeing all of that and kind of connecting those dots, being like, I don't feel that this is not correct, about him, but I'm feeling that vibe about these adults.
Mhm.
And I am, even though it's an atrocious thing that happened to him, I am thankful that I was able to see those warning signs and see, like, okay, this is not what Michael is, but this does exist. And that's actually happened 3 separate times. Um, I stayed very far away from these adults, all of which that were in my school and in elementary school, and then in middle school and high school. And then later on, coming back around after graduating, after leaving the school, and realizing that they got in trouble, they got arrested, thankfully, all in jail or like on the list, So for that, I am truly thankful. Because that's something that changes people irreparably, who have had to go through that. And um, that I am forever grateful to him for, because I did not know that there was a whole other world of people who would do that. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's not in the way that he wants. It's not the way any of us would want, but I really feel that that first warning definitely kept me safe.
Yeah. No, I think that's,
Awareness, I guess you could
yes. Yeah. That's definitely like a positive way to flip like a horrible thing that happened to him. I mean, we all go through trials and tribulations in our lives, and we're like,
say.
well,
Yeah.
how can a positive come out of out of this mess, you know? So I really think that
Yeah,
that's a, you know, you learned how to be cautious of people that were actually pedophiles, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And you
yeah,
learn what is not a pedophile to know enough that listening to the trial and all that stuff and how like no, he definitely could not have been one of those people, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Thank
and we can also kind of slide in also a little bit of it developed a little bit of militantness because watching the court cases being like, what is this? And being very angry and just being like, how is this going to fly? And fortunately slash unfortunately, that has not gone away. So
right.
you'll still see me ranting online from time to time. But,
Well, I think we all do.
yeah,
We all still very much fight for our Michael.
yes. But I'm glad I'm in good companies.
Yes. Do you ever have any Michael Jackson synchronicities?
Um, so when the question was initially asked of me, I was like, you know what? No, unfortunately, but strangely enough, I did have one situation. I'll definitely say, I guess to go back, one of the synchronicities is that I'm constantly volunteering, I'm constantly giving back. That is something that he has drilled in me, and I'm working in a nonprofit now,
Mm.
and just hoping to continue on. Music wise, um, up until this point in my life, I had a very dear friend of mine who's like brother to me. He passed away, unfortunately, in 2016. And our music was Smashing Pumpkins.
Mhm.
So, at this point, Smashing Pumpkins is the thing that follows me throughout the day. But last Monday, was the absolute definition of the worst day ever at work. And um we had like electricity went out and I couldn't get into my house. So it was just like the very just definition of horrible day. And it has never happened before, and I would love for it to happen again. um Keep the faith
Wow.
kept popping up, and I was just like, okay, Mike, I'm going to do my best. Even though I can't get into my house, I will do my best. So I just thought that was really funny. I was like, I have to write this down
Yes.
uh, for the podcast because that has never happened before. Like never, never, never. And it came up on the radio, and then I'm a big phone person, big music person. I have like 10,000 songs on this phone.
Yeah.
It kept popping up, and I was like, come on, algorithm, I'm seeing the signs, I got you.
I love that. That is so and that's like not like a typical song. It
No,
comes up.
no, it was very serendipitous.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
that's
was like, okay, message received.
yes. Thanks, Mike. Well, if you had to pick a favorite Michael Jackson song, what would it be?
Just Good Friends on Bad Album. It's been my answer since I was 6. I don't know why, um but it is just absolutely my favorite song. I smile every time it comes on.
It's a good
Don't
one to
I,
sing.
um,
How about a favorite music video? I knew it.
um, I wish my mom was here so you could speak with her. And I have to give her so much grace because I know that I drove her up the wall. For some reason, she said she tried to find it on VHS, but she couldn't find it. Granted, pre-Amazon. So we would always rent movies. Sometimes from Blockbuster, sometimes from like this little small mom and pop shop that was closer to home. I could always get 2 movies. One of them was always Moonwalker. My mother could not stop me. Even one time she tried to say, like, okay, you can only rent one movie. And it was like Sophie's Choice in that aisle. I could not I was like, no, this is just gonna be Moonwalker. I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I never got my own copy until I was older. But my mom to this day thinks that is um, the funniest story. That and family friends, they just, and not to pivot, and you can cut this out if you want to. Um, I have family friends who live in Encino.
Hmm.
They live like down the street from the Encino, what is that, Haydenhurst? The
Yes.
Encino house. There's so many people who know this story. I'm not embarrassed about it anymore, but uh, our good friend Steve decides little Angela, that's what they call me, she would just find it a hoot. Let me go take a picture of the gate. Don't ask me why he thought that was a good idea. Um, he goes down, he takes a picture of the gate, which of course, security is like, excuse me, good sir, what are you doing? Cut to Steve, who was the friendliest man you will ever, like a stranger's just a friend he hasn't met yet. Uh, chats up with this security guard. He takes a picture of the driveway, shakes hands with the man, goes on about his business, goes home and writes me a letter. I'm sure no one was home. But he writes this letter, he develops these pictures, he sends them to me. And on the back, he outlined his hands, both his hands, and he writes at the top that, like, I shook the hand of a security guard who shook the hand of a man who probably shook the hand of Michael Jackson. Sends it to me in New Orleans. My mother said that she sent me to go check the mail. I'm reading this letter in the kitchen. She's cooking dinner. All she hears is this blood curdling scream behind her, and I take off throughout the house, reading the letter, losing my mind. I wouldn't let her read it. I wouldn't let her touch it. And I just had a conniption on the floor until dinner. And to this day, I'm 40 years old now. I am like an adult. Whenever I go visit them, people I have never met, little Angela, are you still a Michael Jackson fan? Do you still have that letter? I'm not
Well,
embarrassed about it. I'm very proud.
do you still have the letter?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I probably do. Katrina did kind of destroy all of my stuff and all my albums, which is why everything is digital now. I still have the pictures. I haven't found the letter yet, but
Well,
I'm confident that I have it somewhere. If not, I'm gonna make Steve draw his hands again, just just for memory, when I go and visit them in April. So
have you heard about like Thriller Nights that goes on there?
I heard about that, and I was interested because I am planning like this big like sabbatical vacation that I'm having on my birthday for my birthday in April. Go 420. And I was considering going if they have one, if they have one of the nights while I'm out there. I wouldn't mind going. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I've seen his like handprints and stuff, Chinese theater, um, and like his star from like the last time I went out there. But I've never gone to, like, I think for some reason in my mind that's like completely separate from, say, like his outfits at the Grammy Museum.
Hmm.
For some reason that's completely separate. Maybe it's because it's their house. I don't know. But I'm open to go, and if they have one, if they have a thriller night or down at the movie theater.
Oh yeah, yeah, because the Palace Theater is now open since they just did
Yep.
that. I went to California a couple years ago and it was all like shut down. So it's like, but at least I got to see it. So
Yeah. And it's really, I guess I would have to go back out because I haven't been out there since before he passed. And things are so very, I guess, low key. Like you just don't, you'll drive past like movie stars' houses or events or what have you, and you, unless you know, like you don't know. So I never really paid attention to anything like that, but they have to take, we're taking a trip out there. Might as well do it,
Do all the
for
Michael
my
Jackson
birthday.
things. Yeah. It's not even, it's like, I mean, it's kind of a drive from there, but to go see Neverland, like at least outside the gate. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very, very peaceful there.
Yeah. I was tempted. Well, I have a lot of people who are no longer with us that I was not able to go to their funerals.
Mm,
I'm gonna go and visit them. I was like, I'm probably gonna visit him as well,
yes.
you know.
Yeah. At Forest Lawn.
Leave
Yeah.
some flowers, say a prayer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. You'll be able to feel his energy there very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want the world to know about Michael Jackson?
He was just such a good dude. Honestly, I know here's the best way I can say. There's a quote from Maya Angelou. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. Music was my refuge. I could crawl into the space between the notes and curl my back to the loneliness. And music in general is like that for me, but especially his music. It's a safe space. And I know that you're like a big person with like energy and what have you. This man sent out an incredible amount of good energy, um, energy of love, energy of peace, energy of, helping your brother, helping your fellow man. And energy doesn't go away, So I truly feel like it's still here, it's still amongst us, and it's up to us to kind of keep pushing that energy out, sending that wave out, and to kind of continue, not to call us Care Bears, but kind of continue to send that positivity out,
Yeah.
um, especially in these days and times, you know.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. You're not the first one to compare him to a Care Bear, so
Care Bears.
very fitting,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
It is.
But just a really good dude and sent out really good energy, and we just need to keep that going.
I agree. How does Michael continue to spread love in your world?
Besides being a Care Bear, now just honestly, just the good energy, the music, amplifying that, and just honestly, just being a good example. I while I grew up very sheltered, um, and my mother helped kind of cultivate it in me, just the desire to help people. I've been volunteering since I was little. Um, you know, Either through school programs, Girl Scouts, on my own. Even after Katrina happened, my mother and I would cook food for people who were displaced and unhoused, who had to live underneath the interstate because they wanted to keep their jobs but didn't have a place to live.
Hmm.
Just to continue to, I guess, be the change you want to see in the world. Um, and that's just pretty much it. And just even now, just being an adult and working in nonprofits and on my time off volunteering and things of that nature.
That's all, Michael. Was there anything else that you would like to share or say about Michael?
Love them. Will always be a very important person in my life. I'm appreciative of everything that he has done and everything that he has influenced, um, music wise, people wise, and I just hope that it keeps going. I hope that we don't lose the momentum, and I hope it just keeps going.
Amen to that. I hope so too. We're going to keep it going as long as we can.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. That's what we're all here for. We're Michael warriors. That's what I say.
Yes.
Moonwalkers. Thank you so much, Angela, for chatting with me about
Thank you for letting me tangent.
anytime, anytime. It's my favorite subject ever. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. It's all for love. Bye.